From Washington, here is the news in VOA Special English. President Obama has been sworn in to a second term in office. Mr. Obama took the oath of office in a private ceremony at the White House. Vice President Joe Biden was sworn in to a second term earlier in the day, also in a private service at his home. After he and President Obama joined each other at the Arlington National Cemetery for a ceremony to place flowers at the Tomb of the Unknowns. The public swearing-in of President Obama will be held Monday on the grounds of the United States Capitol building. About 800,000 people are expected to gather there for the event. Almost 2 million attended Mr. Obama's inauguration in 2009. French forces are moving toward northern Mali, where Islamist rebels are in control. French forces have carried out days of airstrikes against the rebels. They have continued to attack back. French Defense Minister Jean-Yves Drian says France will accept nothing less than a complete recapture of Mali from the rebels. A French military spokesman says French troops are now in the towns of Niono and Savare. Savare is about 630 kilometers northeast of the capital, Bamako. Its airport could be used as a base for additional military operations in the north. French troops entered Mali last week after that country's government requested military help. The one-week-old offensive appears to have stopped the rebels from moving south. Algerian officials now say at least 80 people were killed in the recent Islamist rebel occupation and military raid at a natural gas center. The officials say a large number of the dead were foreign hostages. Islamist militants seized the center Wednesday and took hostages among the hundreds of workers. The Algerian military raided Saturday. Algerian reports say the kidnappers killed 7 hostages during the military raid. Algerian troops killed 11 of the kidnappers. A number of militants and hostages were killed earlier in the occupation. On Sunday, a search of the center found 25 more bodies. The officials said the remains were not identifiable. They also say 5 militants were detained during the search. A leader of the militants says the attack was to answer the French military intervention in Mali. Japan's Prime Minister gathered a group of government officials Sunday to investigate the hostage crisis in Algeria. Shinzo Abe says he called the meeting after Algeria's government said Japanese nationals may have died in the attack on the natural gas production center. A spokesman for a Japanese engineering company said 4 more workers at the gas center have been found alive, bringing the total found to 7. The company has 78 workers at the gas center. The company's president went to Algeria on Saturday. Syrian rights activists say government warplanes bombed a rebel-held area on the southern end of Damascus Sunday. 7 people were killed during the fighting, including 5 members of one family. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the airstrike targeted the village of Albarika. It said 3 children and their parents were among the dead. Government troops also fought rebels in several areas east of Damascus. Officials in central Yemen say bombs from an unmanned plane or drone have killed at least 3 militants. The officials said Sunday that missiles fired from the drone hit a car that had been targeted, killing suspected members of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. One witness said fire completely surrounded the car. American-backed Yemeni government forces have been fighting Al-Qaeda militants in the country for many years. Al-Qaeda took control of parts of southern Yemen in 2011 during a revolt that ousted then-President Ali Abdullah Saleh. Burmese President Thein Sein says he is trying to create conditions for peace talks with ethnic minority Kachin rebels. Thein Sein said government forces are close to main Kachin Independence Army base in the town of Liza. He says he has ordered troops not to attack the base as a show of goodwill. The Burmese president spoke in Rangoon. A spokesman for the Kachin rebel group said Burmese troops raided a rebel position Sunday several kilometers from Liza. He said a government ceasefire was supposed to be in effect since Saturday. The rebel spokesman said the offensive involved artillery and ground troops. The German opposition has won a narrow victory in a local election. The Social Democrats and the Green Party won the voting in the northern state of Lower Saxony on Sunday. They now have a 1-seat majority in the state government over the coalition led by German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Germany will hold nationwide legislative elections in 8 months. The United Nations says torture is still widespread in Afghan prisons. The UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan released the report Sunday. It comes a year after the UN first reported abuse and the Afghan government promised to reform its detention processes. The new report says investigators found persuasive evidence that more than half of the 635 conflict-linked detainees had been tortured. That is about the same percentage as estimated in the first UN report in 2011. The investigators talked with detainees at 89 centers across the country. The report says that the Afghan government appears to be trying to hide the mistreatment of prisoners, but Afghan officials dispute the UN team's findings.